Have you ever wondered why you allow other people's opinions to have so much power over you? Think about it for a moment. How many decisions have you made today based on what others expect from you rather than what you truly desire? Carl Jung, one of the most revolutionary thinkers in modern psychology, discovered something that could change everything for you. No one, absolutely no one, has the power to make you feel inferior without your consent. This truth, so simple yet profound, is the key to freeing yourself from the invisible chains that keep you trapped in a life that isn't fully yours. Imagine waking up every morning with an unshakable certainty about your own worth. Imagine being able to look anyone in the eye without feeling like you need their approval. Imagine living from your most authentic truth without apologizing for who you are. This isn't an unattainable dream. It's your birthright. And Jung dedicated his life to helping us reclaim it. What I'm going to share with you today isn't simple self-help advice. These are profound psychological truths that have transformed millions of lives. And they could transform yours too, if you're willing to really listen. Jung discovered that we all carry a hidden treasure within, our authentic self. But from childhood, we learn to hide it. We learn to adapt, to please, to be what others expect us to be. We build what Jung called the persona, that social mask we wear to fit in. And over time, many of us forget who we really are beneath that mask. Does that sound familiar? That feeling that something is missing, that restlessness you can't name, that emptiness that no external achievement seems to fill? Jung understood this perfectly. It's your soul trying to communicate with you, reminding you that there's more to you than what you show the world. When you allow others to define your worth, you're giving away your power. You're saying, your opinion of me is more valid than my own. And this, according to Jung, is the origin of much of our psychological suffering. Because no one can value you properly if you don't recognize your own intrinsic worth. It's like asking someone to see colors while you've blindfolded yourself. Think about all the times you've doubted yourself after receiving criticism, all the occasions when you've changed your plans or your dreams because someone else didn't approve. Was it really their words that had power, or was it your inner belief that maybe they were right? Jung was revolutionary in explaining how our psyche functions at levels that go far beyond consciousness. Beneath your everyday thoughts exists a vast, unconscious ocean that influences every aspect of your life. And within that ocean are parts of yourself that you've rejected, aspects you considered unacceptable or dangerous. Jung called them the shadow. Whenever you feel disproportionately affected by someone's criticism or rejection, what's really happening is they've touched an aspect of your shadow. They've pointed to something you haven't fully accepted yourself. That's why it hurts so much. It's not their power over you, it's the power you've given to that rejected part of yourself. The fascinating paradox Jung taught us is that our true power doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from fully embracing who we are, including our imperfections, our fears, our dark parts. When you integrate your shadow, when you recognize and accept all parts of yourself, you become invulnerable to external opinions. Not because you become insensitive, but because there's nothing about yourself that you haven't embraced first. This is what it truly means to trust your worth. It's not arrogance or narcissism. It's a deep knowledge and acceptance of who you are. It's understanding that your worth doesn't depend on your achievements, your appearance, your intelligence, or what others think of you. Your worth is inherent to your existence. But of course, it's easier said than done, right? We live in a society that constantly bombards us with messages about how we should be. The pressure to fit in, to succeed according to predefined standards, to be accepted, it's immense. And we can't simply ignore it with a snap of our fingers. Jung understood this perfectly. That's why his approach wasn't to deny social reality, but to develop a more conscious relationship with it. He spoke about the individuation process, a person's journey to become fully themselves, differentiated from collective expectations and imposed identities. This process begins with an act of courage, looking within yourself, observing your reactions, your fears, your deepest desires. asking yourself, is this really what I want? Or is it what I think I should want? Is this emotion mine? Or am I absorbing what others feel? Does this judgment about myself come from my inner voice or from voices I internalized long ago? Jung described the unconscious as a vast and mysterious territory, but not an inaccessible one. Through dreams, meditation, art, and mindfulness, we can establish a dialogue with those deeper parts of ourselves. And when we do, we discover internal resources we never knew we had. One of the most powerful tools Jung left us was the concept of archetypes. These are primordial energies or patterns that all humans share. The hero, the mother, the sage, the shadow, they all live within you. And when you learn to recognize them and work with them consciously, your life becomes immensely enriched. For example, when someone tries to diminish your worth, you can connect with the warrior archetype within you. Not to attack or aggressively defend yourself, but to stand firm in your truth. Or you can invoke your inner sage, who observes the situation with detachment and understands the insecurities that lead others to criticize. Jung also spoke extensively about synchronicity, those meaningful moments when the outer world seems to reflect your inner world. When you begin to genuinely value yourself, the universe responds. People who don't honor your worth naturally begin to drift away, while those who resonate with your authenticity feel drawn to you. Have you noticed how some relationships seem to drain you, while others energize you? According to Jung, this isn't coincidence. The people who affect us most are those who connect with unconscious aspects of ourselves. If you allow someone to make you feel inferior repeatedly, there's something in that dynamic that's responding to a deep belief you hold about yourself. This is where your true power lies, in recognizing that you choose who has authority over your worth. You decide which opinions carry weight and which are simply passing noise. It's not about isolating yourself from all constructive criticism, but about filtering it through your own inner wisdom. Jung firmly believed that each of us has a unique purpose, a specific contribution to make in this world. He called it our personal myth. But to discover it, we must first have the courage to separate ourselves from the collective myth, from the social expectations imposed on us. Think about the people you admire most. Aren't they the ones who live according to their own inner compass? The ones who dared to be different, to follow their calling, even when others doubted them? These people weren't born with a natural immunity to criticism. They simply decided that their inner truth was more important than external approval. Jung showed us that the path to psychological wholeness, to fulfillment, isn't linear. It has ups and downs, moments of clarity and periods of confusion. Sometimes you'll have to face painful truths about yourself. Other times you'll experience what he called the dark night of the soul. Those moments when everything you thought you knew about yourself is questioned. But each crisis, each challenge, is actually an invitation to know yourself more deeply, to integrate more aspects of your being, to strengthen your connection with your essence. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague belittles your idea in front of everyone. Your first instinct might be to feel embarrassed, inferior, perhaps even angry. But if you've done the inner work Jung talked about, your response will be different. Instead of allowing their words to define your worth, you might recognize, this person is expressing their opinion. It's not a fact about my worth. My response to this is my choice. You might even ask yourself, what part of me feels threatened by this criticism? What can I learn from this reaction? This kind of awareness completely changes your experience. You're no longer a victim of others' opinions, but a conscious observer of your own internal response. And in that space of awareness, you reclaim your power. Jung also spoke extensively about the importance of authentic relationships. Those in which you don't need to pretend, where you can be truly yourself. These connections are more accurate mirrors than any casual opinion or superficial criticism. Who are the people with whom you feel completely yourself? With whom can you share your fears, your doubts, your deepest dreams? These relationships are treasures. Cultivate them. Because it's in these safe spaces where your true self can fully flourish. But even in your closest relationships, remember that your worth isn't in their hands. Genuine love and respect don't try to possess or control you. They see you, they appreciate you, but they recognize that your worth is intrinsic and independent of their recognition. One of Jung's most revolutionary teachings was about projection. He discovered that we tend to project onto others what we don't recognize in ourselves. So when someone constantly criticizes an aspect of you, ask yourself, could they be projecting their own insecurities? This isn't about evading responsibility or denying valid criticism, but about understanding the complex web of human interactions. Often, what bothers us most in others is a reflection of something we haven't accepted in ourselves. For example, if someone harshly criticizes your creativity and it deeply affects you, they might be projecting their own fear of self-expression. Or they might be touching on a fear of yours, a doubt about your creative capacity that already existed within you. In either case, the solution isn't to aggressively defend yourself or passively absorb the criticism. It's to use that moment as an opportunity for self-knowledge. To ask yourself, what can I learn here about myself? Jung taught us that our goal shouldn't be to avoid pain or rejection at all costs. That would be impossible, and besides, would deprive us of valuable lessons. Our goal should be to develop such a strong relationship with ourselves that we can remain centered even in the midst of the storm. This reminds me of a beautiful metaphor Jung used, the tree with deep roots. When your roots, your connection with yourself, with your deepest values, with your inner truth, are strong, you can bend with the wind without breaking. You can receive criticism, face rejection, even fail, without this defining who you are. Developing these roots requires constant practice, small daily acts of self-honesty, of inner listening, of courage to be who you really are, even when it would be easier to conform. For instance, the next time you find yourself seeking external approval, stop and ask yourself, what am I really looking for here? Is it validation I need, or is it connection with myself? Often, what we interpret as a need for approval is actually a call to reconnect with our own inner compass. Or when you feel someone's opinion has too much power over you, observe that feeling with curiosity. Where does that power really come from? What part of you is giving away your authority? Only in that honest recognition does true change begin. Jung showed us that psychological freedom doesn't consist of being free from all external influence. That would be impossible for social beings like us, but in being conscious of those influences, in being able to consciously choose what to absorb and what to let pass. Think about how you react to social media, for example. Every like, every comment, every comparison with others' seemingly perfect lives. All of this can deeply affect your sense of worth if you're not anchored in yourself. How many times have you let a negative comment ruin your day, or modified your post seeking more approval? Jung would invite us to use these moments as opportunities for self-knowledge, not to judge ourselves, but to understand ourselves better. To ask ourselves, why does this affect me so much? What part of me is seeking external validation? One of the most powerful practices Jung recommended was keeping a journal of dreams and reflections. He believed our dreams are direct messages from our unconscious, valuable clues about parts of ourselves we're ignoring or repressing. Each morning, take a few minutes to write down what you remember from your dreams. Don't worry about interpreting them correctly at first. Just the act of paying attention to them is already strengthening your connection with your inner world. You can also write about moments when you felt diminished by others, or situations where you gave away your power, not to ruminate on them, but to identify patterns, to see clearly how and when you allow others to define your worth. Jung also believed in the transformative power of art and creative expression. When you create, whether writing, painting, dancing, or any other form of expression, you're dialoguing directly with your unconscious. You're giving voice to parts of yourself that perhaps can't easily express themselves with rational words. So find your form of expression. It doesn't have to be good by external standards. It doesn't have to be shared with anyone. Its value lies in the process, in that internal dialogue you establish with yourself. As you deepen this inner work, you'll begin to notice subtle but profound changes. Others' opinions will gradually lose their power over you, not because you become insensitive, but because your center of gravity will have shifted from outside to inside. You'll notice that you can receive criticism without crumbling, that you can hold your truth even when others don't understand or value it, that you can love and connect deeply without depending on that connection to feel complete. This is the gift Jung wanted for all of us: psychological freedom. The ability to be fully ourselves in a world that constantly tries to mold us according to its expectations. And the most beautiful thing is that when you live from this place of authenticity, you're not the only one who benefits. Your example inspires others. Your refusal to diminish yourself to fit in creates space for others to dare to shine too. Your courage becomes contagious. Jung expressed it beautifully when he said, "The brighter the light, the darker the shadow." He was referring to that natural authenticity, that curiosity, that ability to be completely oneself without apologies that we all had as children before the world taught us to doubt our worth. Remember that this journey has no final destination. There's no point where you can say, "Done, I'll never again allow others to make me feel less." It's a daily practice, a commitment renewed every morning. There will be days when it will be difficult, days when old wounds will open, when critical voices, internal and external, will seem louder than your truth. On those days, be gentle with yourself. Remember that even Jung, with all his wisdom, faced his own demons. What matters isn't perfection, but direction. Every time you choose to come back to yourself, every time you remember your inherent worth, you're strengthening that inner muscle. You're building a relationship with yourself that no one can break. And think about what this will mean for your life. Imagine the decisions you would make from this place of self-confidence, the risks you would dare to take, the relationships you would cultivate, the creativity you would express. Everything changes when you remember that no one, absolutely no one, has the power to make you feel less without your consent. This is the invitation I'm extending to you today, inspired by Carl Jung's profound teachings. Remember who you are. Remember your inherent worth. And from that remembrance, live, create, love, be. You don't need to become someone else to be valuable. You don't need to achieve more, have more, be more. Your worth isn't something you must earn. It's something you already possess by the simple fact of existing. My question for you now is, what would you do differently if you really believed this? What conversations would you have? What dreams would you pursue? What relationships would you transform? I invite you to share your reflections in the comments. This isn't just a video, it's the beginning of a conversation. An invitation to remember, together, our intrinsic worth. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt it was speaking directly to your heart, please share it. There are countless people struggling with the same doubts, allowing others to define their worth. Your act of sharing could be precisely what someone needs to hear today. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content inspired by the wisdom of great thinkers like Carl Jung. We're creating together a space where we can explore the depths of human experience, where we can remind each other of our inherent greatness. And as we close this video, I want to leave you with one final reflection from Jung. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. It's time to awaken. It's time to remember your worth. It's time to live from the certainty that no one has the power to make you feel less. That power has always been and will always be yours alone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention, your openness, your willingness to grow. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue this journey of self-discovery together.